Hey, it's Lowry Smith of the CommanderSmiths here with an order from Card Kingdom with credit. I send in cards that I am not trading away or have extras of, so I send it in for some good credit. Generally, I aim for about 70% of value back on it, and then I order cards that I don't have or want more of. And this is about 100 cards, about $200. So about $2 a card, some cool ones, plenty of cheap ones and stuff like that. So let's get cracking. Let's see what's in here. Commander Smiths is what I'm associated with, and we have a weekly podcast with me and my cousin Adam. He is a hoot, and we are pretty consistent. And so, if you like all sorts of different things for Magic and Commander, check us out. Subscribe here. We have a Patreon, Discord, all that kind of good stuff. Robot token from CK. Oh, both sides. Oh, flips. Wow, getting good out there, huh? So this is mostly going to be a lot of newer stuff. I was kind of gone a lot of the summer. So Final Fantasy's on the board, Edge of Eternities. I'm sure I got some of, and then just plenty of random stuff that I wouldn't mind in the deck. But um, I'm not even going to say this, but whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. I like this effect, especially red has it most of the time. So if I can get in black and white, I think I kind of like the idea. I know there's the black, blue, white version. That's the 4 mana commander, and that's a pretty cool one as well. Um, and so, if it's going to branch over into black and white to kind of gain you some life, it's aristocrat style, but casting non-creature spells. I dig it. I'll try it out. Remember to give a thumbs up as well. Professor Hojo, the first activated ability you activate during your turn that targets a creature you control, costs 2 less to cast. And then whenever one or more creatures you control are the target of an activated ability, draw a card only once each turn. I mean, it's kind of the draw and reducing costs. I don't know how many green activated abilities like decks that I have going on. I have a Zerta one, but that's mostly artifacts. But that doesn't mean it's not an interesting card. We have Riku, Resourceful Guardian. Whenever you put one or more counters on a creature until end of turn, that creature can't be blocked by creatures your opponents control. So it's cheap. It feels like when you're just putting counters on everything, maybe in a Sonic deck that I'll be building in the next week or two. Everything's unblockable. Yeah, sure. And then you can move some counters around, but who cares about that? Sephiroth, Fallen Hero. You can kind of sacrifice a modified creature, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I'm gonna put this in my uh the red, white, black queen from Final Fantasy. She's pretty cool. Oh man, I'm blanking on it right now, but this goes in that deck. Why not? Seymour's Butler. Each other non-token creature you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it, and then proliferate X times, where X is the number of non-token creatures you control that entered this turn. I mean, one in a tap to proliferate 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, probably 1 to 2 times is pretty cool. That's not bad. And then everything's getting 1/1 counters on it anyway. Um, so I think this definitely works in +1/+1 counter decks. I've had a handful. Like if I had Wolverine around, I'd still like that. Shalai and Halar really liked it. Anything green white counters based likes this card. So picked up a couple of them. Dragon Brood's Relic. It is a 5 color, so I'm not going to use it a whole ton, if any. But tap an untapped creature you control, add 1 mana of any color. Then you can sack the artifact, create a 4/4 dragon. Yada yada yada. I just thought it was kind of a neat, cool, cheap artifact, but in reality, it's not going to be used a whole ton. Champions from Beyond. I like this card a lot. Creates X 1/1 tokens. Whenever you attack with 4 or more creatures, scry 2, then draw a card. I like that ability for sure. Whenever you attack with 8 or more creatures, so it has a boost ability if you attack with 8 or more creatures, +4/+4. I mean, it allows you to just be really aggressive, and I like it. So I was getting my third one here, very pretty. Dancer's Chakrams. Giving your commander lifelink is the big deal. That's what I wanted it for. Just getting a second one, which is pretty cool. Life streams blessings. Draw X cards where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. As you cast a spell, and if the spell was cast from exile, you gain twice X life. Gonna be honest, I wish I had this from a Treebeard deck. I think drawing a bunch of cards and then gaining a bunch of life, then making Treebeard even bigger sounds awesome. But either way, I really like this effect. What is the Man, I'm kind of blinking on a lot of cards. There's a 5 mana sorcery in green. There's a 6 mana sorcery in green. Rishkar's Expertise. That sounds right. Yeah, that one's bomb. That one's awesome. And this being able to play from the graveyard, I really like that. So I want 1 or 2 copies of that. Observe Stasis. Whenever this aura enters, remove enchanted creature from combat, then draw a card for each tapped creature its controller controls. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and can't attack or block. So basically, you flash this in to stop the biggest blocker. They lose their abilities, can't attack or block, and you get to draw a bunch of cards for 4 mana. This is doing a lot. I don't know how much play it's going to do or see, but I see some potential there. Cheap too. Reaper Scythe. Job select, so you get a hero with it, but at the beginning of your end step, put a soul counter on this equipment for each player who lost life this turn. So hopefully you're doing 3 soul counters on it. An equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each soul counter on this equipment, and as an assassin. So like if you have a deck like Papalo, Papilmo, fuck.
Can't even read.
And then you just give it +1/+1, and like +3/+3 by end of turn. Like I can see it getting pretty aggressive. Summoning Materia. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as an equipment is attached to a creature, you may cast creature spells from the top. And equipped creature gets +2/+2 vigilance and taps for a green. Um, that's a lot going on just one equipment. I have nothing against it. I don't like big like +2/+2 and doing mana still feels just kind of weird. So I don't know how much I really care about it, but I thought it was interesting. Let's get some. And then we have Yuri Anger Relt. God, I wish I played Final Fantasy, but I have no idea what most of these names are doing here. Whenever you play a land from exile, like this is just a play from exile type card, so it's dope. Arden the Usurper. It's just 8 mana, but at the beginning of combat, I just like it for the demons have menace, lifelink, haste. It kind of feels like a card that's just going to huge boost demons in the future. This is one that I'm kind of specking on. I picked up 8 of them, but it's stolen a uniform, which is just moving an equipment from something onto another thing. And then if it's not yours, it unattaches, but it's a quick steal. I like the alt art foil for that. We have Torgal, a fine hound, taps for mana. Whenever you cast your first human creature spell during your turn, each turn that creature enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it for each dog and/or wolf you control. Um, so it kind of works in your dog decks and your wolf decks, werewolf decks, and I think there might be a little something there. Probably not. It's probably just a 2 mana tapper. Doesn't do a whole ton. I like Bragon, Soldier of Meletis. 2/2. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, put a 1/1 counter on it and remove a 1/1 counter from it to draw a card. So essentially, it gets big. If you have any sort of proliferation, you can kind of draw a card for free. Essentially, it has vigilance. You can attack with it. It gets in some damage. I just really like the card. It's the putting the counter on it thing. You got to make sure you're kind of in that kind of deck. Drannith Stinger. Whenever you cycle another card, 1 damage to each opponent. It has to be cycling instead of discard, but that effect is pretty cool. I got the anime version because the foil version seems to just always be sold out. So there we go. Shattered Landscape. I really like these cycling lands. That's 3 mana. I like 3 color decks. And so yeah, it's just a easy basic fetch. Chandra's Ignition, one of my favorite cards for a long time. Picked up a foil of it, and it's sitting around $4 or $5. They do have a couple of different versions of foiling, and this is the cheapest version, the Ripple foil from the Modern Horizons Commander deck. I like the Ripple foil; they're pretty. Tranquil Thicket. This is for a deck. What is it? Oh, Tavol. So I can cycle stuff, bring it back with Tavol. Yeah, so just getting foils of that. Gilded Goose, very pretty. I think I already got one of these, but I want a second one. I like this art on the Gilded Goose, and I can get rid of everything else. Tenured Inkcaster. Whenever Inkcaster enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. And whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So if you're in a black 1/1 counter deck, you attack with 5. Everybody loses 5. You gain 5, and it's yeah, that's aggressive. PE aggressive. Desperate Measures. Instant speed. Target creature gets +1/-1, and if it dies, you get to draw 2 cards. Um, this is, it's not Skull Clamp, whatever people say, but it is that style of card that's like sacrifice a card, draw 2, or sacrifice a creature, draw 2. This has the potential to like boost one of your guys you're going to block with anyway, maybe do better math and trade in that regard. So that's how I look at it. It's not Skull Clamp. So let's get that straight. Better Ancestor's Voice. Anybody who built this knows that the card is great. I've watched people. I did not build it, but I want it sitting around in my collection. Tip the scales, sacrifice a creature. Whenever you do, all creatures get -X until end of turn, where X is the sacrifice creature's toughness. This goes in those big butt decks like Betor or Dora in the Siege Tower. Hagra Constrictor enters with 2 1/1 counters on it for 3 mana, and each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it has menace. So just adding a little bit of, you know, evasion. Cruel Sadist. I've potentially and wanted to play with this a handful of times. So I'm gonna do it. I put this in Varric for sure, and that was a couple of years ago at this point. And then I almost put it in my God, I should fucking figure out the name of the gal. Celeste. That's who I'm talking about. So it's kind of a 1/1 counter theme. And so I was looking for a bunch of cards that dealt with that. I'm very happy with where the deck is right now. But if a card interests me and I don't have it, I go and get a version of it. Adult Gold Dragon. It's very pretty. I did not have one, and so I felt like might as well get it. I kind of for my Sonic deck that I'm going to be building. I was thinking about doing like lightning angel style, like flying lifelink haste or vigilance and stuff like that. It did not work out that way. But still cool to have the card. Unaliving Psychopath. It's there to destroy target creature with power less than unaliving Psychopath power. That's for Celeste as well, with just that +1/+1 counter theme. It didn't make it in the deck anyway. Zaza's Chocobo. Whenever a land you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. This is the best 1-drop landfall card out there for the most part. Like counters everything else just is 1/1 until end of turn. If it's just a 1-drop or a 2-drop for the most part, but this is, in my mind, that's the premiere for it. Port of Carfell. You can bring back. You can sacrifice it and bring a creature back into play tapped, and this is for Tavol. So just cool little card there. Titan's Nest foil promo of it. And this is remove exile a card from your graveyard, add a colorless, can't be for X spells. The card's great. If you can get it in the deck, and this is for Tavol, and this is going to be awesome, and it's there. Ooh, yeah, we got that promo. Lear, Disciple of the Drowned. You know what? I love Lear, Disciple of Drowned, and this is the pimpest version of it. It was running like 35, $40. And I definitely wouldn't have bought this without store credit, but pretty happy to have that. I'm pretty happy with that. And then Venerable War Singer, whenever it attacks, you can bring a creature back with power less than Venerable War Singer. This was going to go in Celeste as well, just bringing stuff back and forth, but just wanting a cool version of it. On to the second box. That's probably a little less than halfway, but it's still plenty of good stuff coming. Whoop. Let's see here. I'm going to have to catch up on. What do we got here? What's up, Fernando? Parks, thanks for joining, guys. All right. Hey, I'm about to shower, but I'll keep my device turned on this part. Thank you. I will try and keep the cussing down. I'll do my best. Sorry. Maybe. Hi, Grandma. All right. Zariel, Archduke of Avernus. It's there kind of for the extra combats, I believe it was. Yep. I was thinking about making that proliferate deck with the new red, white, blue artifact that whenever it taps proliferate. And so I was thinking about having some planeswalkers in there. I ended up not building the deck, but still really thought this was a cool card. I want to say I bought this guy for like $5-6. So it may be a little overpriced in my opinion, but cool is cool. You know, Edgar, King of Figaro, 4/5. Whenever enters, draw a card for each artifact you control. I normally like a lot of artifacts, and then the first time you flip a coin, I'm not doing anything with that. Not flipping coins. Bumbleflower, Share Pot. This is kind of for the Red Ghost Lobster Guide deck. When it ETBs, draw a card. Oh, it's create a food token. Oh, I didn't want that. All right, that's disappointing. That's okay. It's okay to have cards that you're disappointed in, but Carrot Cake is creating 1/1 rabbits when it comes into play and leaves. It was kind of also for the lobster guy, but I'm not going to play that one. Iridescent Fine Lasher. Did I get 2? Just the 1 foil at this point. Thought I got a second. I don't know. But I like the landfall, deals 1 damage to target opponent. I like landfall stuff. It's generally pretty good. Charred Foyer, I think. Foyer, probably Foyer. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. That's 4 mana, 6 manas. Once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay mana cost for a spell you cast from exile. So once you kind of get it unlocked, I like the idea of playing stuff from exile, and so when they put out new stuff that's cheap, I try and go with it. Fear of Imposters, flash ETBs counter target spell, and then they get to manifest a card. I don't like the counter spell, but I do like to have the option if people make me mad. So we'll see where this goes. Might not go anywhere. Anti-casual Vestige, 7/5 for 6 mana Eldrazi. Whenever this creature leaves the battlefield, draw a card. Then you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and has Warp 4. It's a cool card. It's a cool Eldrazi. I kind of wish we had more Eldrazi and Slivers in the deck just to see them running amok, but they didn't do that. And that's where we're at. I don't know where it's going to go. It's going to be cool, though. Biotech Specialist from Edge of Eternity. 1/3. Whenever this creature enters, create a lander token. The lander tokens are cool. I'm going to be honest. I really like them. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, this creature deals 2 damage to target opponent. It's going to be great next to treasures, right? Sammy Wildcat. Oh, Captain. Double strike vigilance spells. You cast have affinity for artifacts. This card seems really good. It's probably going to go on Lobster Guy. Starwinder, another Edge of Eternity. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw that many cards. As in, how much damage are you dealing? Jeez Louise. This card seems really good. I'd get yourself one of them, especially for the warp, but the 7 might be a little much, but you can draw a ton of cards off this. The Eternity Elevator, 5 mana to tap for 3 with 20. I don't know if I'll ever do this. 20 just seems like a lot. I don't know. I don't want to station it or whatever. Weft Stalker Ardent. Whenever a creature or an artifact ETBs, deal 1 damage to each opponent. Has warp on it. Also going in a Lobster Guy. Imidian Waste Waker. Oh my gosh. Sorry,
Can't even read.
Whenever this creature attacks you and defending player, each discard a card, sacrifice a permanent, You draw a card for each land card that was put in the graveyard this way. Also has Encore. Just seemed like a cool, mean card. It does include yourself, but it is what it is. They're probably going to kill it pretty quick. Festering Thicket is the green black cycle land, which I'm happy to have. Did I get a second one? Yes, I did. And then there should be another version as well. I hope I got that. But Sprouting Goblin is the next card. It has kicker green. When it ETBs, if you kicked it, search your library for a land card. With a basic land type, reveal it into hand, shuffle, tap, sacrifice a land, draw a card. Might be a little bit too much, but it is an uncommon. It is what it is. I thought I was doing a lot. We'll see. Eumidian Hatchery is a land. Tap, pay a life, get add a black, put a hatchling counter on it, and whenever this land is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, for each hatchling counter on it, create a 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. I mean, there's a lot of decks that like this, especially the Gitrod monster, Lord Windgrace, the new, where the precon is. So I picked up at least two of them. Cool. A Realm Reborn, just tapping any permanent for a color of mana. 6 mana is generally pretty steep, but it's always fun to have that kind of effect anyway. Aerith Gainsborough. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on it. Whenever it dies, put a X 1/1 counters on each legendary creature you control, where X is the number of 1/1 counters on this. It's probably going to go on my hashtag Team Forest Walk Jarrett, deck. It's a Legendary Matters deck. Albahead Salvagers, 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever this creature, another creature, or an artifact dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's just an aristocrat's piece, so you get a couple of them as they're coming out. Choco, Seeker of Paradise. It's a bird legend. Whenever a legend or a bird attacks, you reveal its top card, put lands into play, landfall +1/+0 for birds. It can be crazy. It's a cheap card. Adam was going to build it, so I just didn't think about it, and I probably won't anymore at this point either. But it's pretty cool. Clive's Hideaway cares about legends. You can cast the land that was. If you're a legend mattered, get Clive's Hideaway. Delivery Moogle, 4 mana, 3/2 flyer. Whenever this creature enters, search your library and graveyard for an artifact card with mana value 2 or less. Reveal it, put it in your hand. You may search your library this way. Shuffle. So it's not too bad. Freya Crescent taps to add mana for activated abilities or just the equipping ability. Genji Glove, double strike, and then whenever equipped creature attacks, if it's the first combat, get another one. This is a really good one. It's a little expensive, but it's going in my Captain America deck for sure. Gilgamesh, Master at Arms. Whenever it enters or attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your deck. You may put any number of equipment card from among them onto the battlefield, equip it, 6 mana. That's doing a lot, and you might really like it. So I think it's worth it. Jekt, Reluctant Guardian Menace. Whenever it deals combat damage, you may exile it, then return it to the battlefield transformed under owner's control. It is a 7/7 menace. Each opponent discards a card, and you draw a card, and then that happens twice. Each opponent sacrifices 2 creatures of their choice. So that's kind of doing a lot, and then it kind of goes away. It doesn't flip back like a lot of these things, but it's a pretty cool card. Like I said, I kind of like the Final Fantasy set. I think a lot of people did. They just kind of got short printed, unfortunately. Genova, it's doing weird things with mutants and 1/1s. We'll see. Jill's Shiva's Dominant. When it enters, return up to 1 other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. And then 5, return Jill to the battlefield transformed. See that backside. Target creature can't be blocked this turn twice. And tap all lands your opponent's control. Exile Shiva and return it. It's 4/5. And then back and forth. So as it flips or comes back into play, bounce something else. I would have really liked this in Hilda? Not Hilda. Oh, good for you. Yes. Welcome, Mr. Wyndham. We have Kuja, Genome Sorcerer. It creates those little 1/01 wizards that deal damage to everybody. That's a pretty cool one. Loxius's Sacrifice. It's sacrificing a thing or paying 2 more to counter target activated ability, triggered ability, or non-creature spell. Ninja's Blades. Equipment. Creature gets +1/+1. Ninja addition into other types, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, discard a card. That player loses life equal to the discarded card's mana value. Again, it's okay. It is job select, so it comes down with a 1/1 hero, I believe. It should be good. I don't know where it's going. I have no idea where it's going. Quietus's Trip.
What?
He can't even read.
When it enters, you may cast target instant sorcery card from your graveyard, and the mana of any type must be spent to cast that spell. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. So 3 mana, no flash, Snapcaster Mage. That's essentially what it is. Not a bad deal. I got 2. Ugh, I got aggressive, huh? 4 mana, 3/3 flying construct. Whenever another artifact you control enters, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. It's just kind of a looting thing. I hope I only got 1. There we go. Serapheron, the first legendary creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you control 2 or more other legends, you may transform Sarah, and that is first legend costs 2 less. Legendary creatures you can control get +2/+2. Yeah. Like I said, Genital Janin, hashtag Team Forest Walk. That's the deck. Legend matters. Whenever legends matter, I take a look. Side quest, catch a fish. This is going in Lobster Guy. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your deck. And if it's an artifact or a creature card, you may reveal it and put it in your hand. If you put a card into your hand this way, create a food token and transform this enchantment. Taps to add a white, sacrifice an artifact, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, so I think I always missed the I don't want to transform this. I wish I could just have that front side. I guess it kind of ramps you a little bit. Meh. Side quest, raise a chocobo, get you 2/2, landfall, yada yada. Uh-oh. White ramp. Yeah. White ramp is not always the best, right? Since you're here, Mr. Wyndham, I have to show the coolest one so far. Lear, Disciple of Drown is some type of in-store promo, but it's gorgeous. That's the one I'm most happy with. Everything else is to fill out potential for decks. Summoner's Grimoire, 4 mana job select, so 1/1 is attached to it. Equipped creature is a shaman in addition into the other types, and whenever this creature attacks, you may put a creature card from the land or from your hand on the battlefield. If that card is an enchantment card, it enters tapped and attacking. Yeah, aggressive Elvish Piper. The Fire Crystal, red spells cost 1 less. Creatures you control have haste, and 6 mana create a token of a copy of target creature you control. I don't know where this is going to go. I really hated on the crystals. They might be growing on me. This might go into Sonic. This might go into Narev Dragon Deck. I don't know. It seems pretty cool though. We have the Water Crystal, which is the mill one. Blue spells cost 1 less. Valkyrie Aerial Unit, affinity for artifacts, so really aiming for the 2 blue instead of the other 5. It's 5/4 flying. Whenever this creature enters, surveil 2. I like the one that draws you 2 cards better, obviously, but I don't hate this either. So wanted to get one. Venet, Heart of... Hey, Dylan. Hey, Dylan. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, draw a card. Triggers once. Legendary card. I have this in Genital Janin already, just getting a foil version of it. Vincent Valentine. It's 1/1 counters on it, can flip. It's a 3/2 trample lifelink. When it dies, return it to the battlefield. 1/1 counters on it. That's hard to get rid of. Zach Fair seems kind of cool. I remember that. 0/1 enters with a 1/1 counter on it. Tap 1, sacrifice it. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. And then put Zach Fair's counters on that creature and attach an equipment that was attached to Zach Fair to that creature. So it's just kind of like transferring it over to that creature. I'm probably not going to have any equipment on this guy, but there's at least the one counter. I don't know. Absolute Virtue. Spell can't be countered, has flying, have protection from each of your opponents. That's just you, so you can't be dealt damage, enchanted, or targeted by anything controlled by your opponents. We have Ultimeca, Ultimecia, Temporal Threat. Did I get a second one? I did. Yeah. When it ETBs, tap all creatures opponents control, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So it's basically saying, I'm going to tap all your stuff down, I'm going to get through, and I'm going to draw some cards. It seems like a very cool win card. I like it a lot. Bronze Guardian. There's a reprint, but just getting a foil version of it. I got 2. I really like this card. So double strike, Ward 2, power is equal to the amount of artifacts you have, and other artifacts have Ward 2 as well. So I dig that card a lot. Scion Reborn, lifelink. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay X life, where X is the spell's mana value. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token and put X/1/1 counters on it. Do this once each turn. Getting a foil Luminous Broodmoth or 2. Yeah, I got 2 of them. That is what that is for. Just, I like the card. Getting a foil version of it's expensive. This is $4-ish. So same thing with Scholar of New Horizons. This is really the only foil version of it. I should have gotten a couple, but I think they're kind of sold out. Titus, Yuna's Guardian. I really like this card, and it was kind of cheap. The other version, non-foil version, was like $6. This was like 99 cents. So I'm sure this is the face card, and the non-foil version is only in packs or whatever. So rarity. But on the beginning of combat on your turn, you may remove a counter from target creature you control onto a second target creature you control. And whenever one or more creatures you control with counters on them deal combat damage, if a player, you may draw a card and proliferate. Do this only once each turn. So drawing a card and proliferating is pretty cool. Ushola is the one I was talking about. It deals. All right. At the beginning of, you may cast, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may, of mana value 3 or greater, it deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. And then at the beginning of each end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, you get to draw a card. So it's, you cast 2 that are 3 or more, you're going to be able to draw another card. It's a 2/4 vigilance. I did want to really build this one. Still kind of tempted, but it's pretty cool. Done the last couple. Yeah, a lot of Final Fantasy in here, huh? Fandaniel. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, surveil 1. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent may sacrifice a non-token creature of their choice. Each opponent who doesn't lose 2 life for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. So after a while, they're just going to have to start paying the 2 life or sacrificing a non-token creature. Trial Balsage. What is it? 2/1 lifelink. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may return target creature card with mana value equal to that spell's mana value from your graveyard to your hand. Do this only once each turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, return something legendary. Might go in a legend deck. I don't know. There's that second life stream blessing. Just couldn't get in foil. And that's it, folks. That was 100+ cards. Hopefully enjoy. I have no idea how to pronounce any Final Fantasy characters' names. Never played. Yeah. Oh, it's a trip. It's not the easiest. If you thought Magic made up words, Final Fantasy is like maybe condensed right here, but it's bad. So hopefully y'all enjoy that. Let me know if you learned of any cards, or if you're like, oh, you know what? Why'd you buy that? Hopefully I gave some explanations there, but hopefully you enjoyed. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.